I am Robinson Jay Singh, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department, Francis Xavier Engineering College. In my previous webinar, you have learnt about the jet propulsion, that is the aircraft's and aircraft's engine function. In my this webinar, we are going to learn about the rocket engines and rocket propulsion. So first of all, we are going to see what are the types of rocket engines which are used to launch the rocket. Many of you hear that the rockets are launched in rocket launching centers. In our India, the rocket launching center is Sriharikota. So we have heard that the rockets are launched from Sriharikota. Likewise, in America, Russia, and also rocket launching centers are there. From that rocket launching centers, rockets will be launched from, and they will be mainly used to provide the satellites in the orbits. So now we are going to see what are the types of rocket engines, what are the parts of the rocket engines, how the rockets are launched. That topics we are going to see in this webinar. First of all, the different rocket engines available in the various countries: chemical rocket engine, nuclear rocket engines, electrical rocket engines, and solar rocket engines. So in our India, most of the rockets are propelled by the chemical rocket engines. So in other countries like America, Russia, Germany, nuclear rocket engines, electrical rocket engines, and solar rocket engines are also used. First of all, before going to enter the chemical rocket engines, we can see about the classifications rocket engines based on applications, number of stages, and size and range. Based on applications, the rockets are classified as space rockets, military rockets, weather forecasting rockets, booster rockets. Based on the number of stages, rockets are classified as single stage rockets, multi-stage rockets. Based on size and range, rockets are classified as short range, small rockets, long range, large rockets. This is the common rocket and its parts. Mainly, rockets are differed as the parts of. First one is, this is a fairing part. In this fairing part, the satellites and launching equipments are placed in this fairing part. And in this second one part, this is a payload part. Whether it may be the unmanned vehicle or manned vehicles, the main launching equipments are placed in this part. If it is a manned vehicle, the scientists are placed in this cockpit. Then this is a storage part, that is the equipments, the storage tank, and also in this part, if it is a liquid rocket engine, the storage tanks are available in this part. This one is a main part. This is a engine part. So in this engine part, the pumps, turbines, and combustion chamber and nozzles are available in this main engine part. So this is the engine part. This one is a payload part. This is a fairing part. So these are all the types of chemical rocket engines. The chemical rocket engines are classified as liquid fuel rocket, solid fuel rocket, and hybrid fuel rocket. So these are all the parts. These are all the types of chemical rocket engines. So first of all, this is a liquid fuel rocket engine. In this liquid fuel rocket engine, keep in mind that this is a only engine part. Okay, so now we are going to see only the engine parts. So in this engine part, the top part, the storage tanks will be placed. So this is a storage. These two are the storage tanks. This one is liquid fuel tank. This one is liquid oxidizer tank. So mainly the rocket fuels are two types. One is fuel, another one is oxidizer. Since the rockets are launching through the space, in the space there will be no oxygen available. So in order to utilize the oxygen, the oxidizer tank and fuel tanks will be placed in the rocket. So apart from fuel tanks and oxidizer tanks, the pumps will be available. The purpose of the pumps are to extract the fuel and oxidizer from the tank to the combustion chamber. So finally, the combustion chamber and nozzles will be available in the liquid rocket engine. In the solid rocket engine, it is different because in the solid rocket engine, the fuels will be in the solid form. In the liquid rocket engine, the fuel and oxidizers are in the liquid form. So in the solid rocket engine, the solid fuel and oxidizer are placed in the main combustion chamber, and there will be no tank will be available. So we'll be see in details about the solid rocket engine and liquid rocket engine in later. First of all, we are going to see the solid propellant rocket engine. So in the solid propellant rocket engines and liquid propellant rocket engines are mostly utilized to launch the rockets in India. So first of all, we are going to see the function of solid propellant rocket engine. In the solid propellant rocket engine, mainly you have to keep in mind that the fuel will be in the solid form. So whether it may be the monopropellant or bipropellant. So we will see what is the monopropellant and bipropellant in later. Before that, we are going to see the construction of the solid propellant rocket engine. In the solid propellant rocket engine, there will be the two main parts. One is thrust chamber and another one is nozzle. The thrust chamber is also known as combustion chamber. So in the thrust chamber, inside the thrust chamber, the solid propellant will be dumped, that is placed inside the cylindrical shell of the solid propellant rocket. So before that, the fuel and oxidizers will be fabricated in the powder form, and it will be mixed. Both the fuel and oxidizers are made as a powder, and then it will be mixed. Then both the mixed form will be placed inside the solid shell, that is rocket shell. So first of all, it is an igniter. This igniter is used to ignite the solid rocket propellant to create the burning. Then this is a solid shell. Inside the solid shell, liner will be utilized. The purpose of the liner is to protect the shell from the high heat. So in this place, the propellants will be placed. Finally, the nozzles will be used. So in the combustion chamber, first of all, when the rocket is going to launch, the spark will be produced from the igniter. This spark will create the burning. So the fuel and oxidizer, which is in the powder form, will be start to ignite, start to burn. So the powder form of the solid and fuel will start to ignite. Then based on the chemical reaction, the burning will be started. So because of the burning, high pressure exhaust gases will be produced. These high pressure exhaust gases will flow from the combustion chamber to the nozzle. So when the gases will flow from the nozzle, its pressure energy will be converted into kinetic energy. As I told in the previous webinar, the purpose of the nozzle is to convert the pressure energy into kinetic energy. So the high velocity gases will be converted, that high velocity gases will be escaped through the output of the nozzle. So the thrust will be produced based on the Newton's third law. In order to produce the high velocity, the exhaust gases will have high velocity. So the opposite reaction is produced in the forward direction. Because of the Newton's third law, the rocket will be propelled from the bottom to the top. So this is the basic working principle of all rocket engines. This is the combustion shell, that is inside the combustion chamber, the powder form of fuel and oxidizer will be placed inside the shell. So this is the form of combustion chamber shell. Mainly, the propellants which are used in the solid rockets are classified into two, that is heterogeneous composite propellant and homogeneous propellant. What is heterogeneous? What is homogeneous? If the fuels and oxidizers are in different form, it is known as heterogeneous propellant. If the fuel and oxidizers are used as a same propellant, it is a homogeneous propellant. First of all, heterogeneous propellants, the fuels and oxidizers are in different chemicals. Most of the fuels used in the solid propellant rockets are plastics, polymers, and PVC. Oxidizer used in the liquid propellant, solid propellant rockets are nitrates and perchlorates. Second one is homogeneous propellants. Homogeneous propellants means the same chemical is reacting as both fuel and oxidizer. So homogeneous propellants used in the solid propellant rockets are nitroglycerin and nitrocellulose, or these two chemicals are used as a homogeneous propellants in solid propellant rockets. Mainly, the properties of solid propellants are: it should release a large amount of heat during combustion. Its physical and chemical properties should not change during processing. It should have high density. It should not be poisonous and hazardous. It should be easily available and it should be cheap. It should be non-corrosive and non-reactive with components of the engine. It should be stored and handled will be very easy. Now we are going to see how the propellants will be burnt inside the solid propellant rocket engine. Mainly, two types of burnings are available in the solid propellant rocket. First one is cigarette burning. In the cigarette burning, the burning will start from this side. So from this side, in this side, the burning will be started. So from the right to left, the burning will be gradually done in the cigarette burn. But in the internal burning, it should be hollow shape of the shell, as we have seen in the previous slide. The hollow shape of cylindrical shell is provided. So around the cylindrical shell, the propellants will be placed. So burning will be taken place in this direction. This is an internal burning. Third one is neutral burning. In this neutral burning, the propellant grain will be placed in the center of the propellant solid rocket. So the burning will be taken place in the radially outwards. This is a radially inwards. So internal burning, the burning will start radially inwards. In the neutral burning, the burning will start radially outwards. Then we are moving into liquid propellant rocket engine. In the liquid propellant rocket engines, the fuels and oxidizers are in the liquid form. So it will be stored in the fuel tanks and oxidizer tank. So as I told in earlier, fuel tanks, then fuel pumps and oxidizer pumps, then the engines will be placed inside the rocket. As I told, pumps are mainly used to suck the fuel and oxidizer from the storage tank and supplies it into the engine, that is combustion chamber. So as I told, in order to produce more thrust, the fuels will have more velocity. So due to the more thrust, the rocket will be launched from the bottom to the top. It should have forward direction. So this is the construction of liquid propellant rocket engine. As I told, in the top, liquid fuel tank and fuel tank and oxidizer tanks will be placed. Then pumps, then valves and electronics control devices will be placed. Finally, in the combustion chamber, the injector nozzles will be placed to spray the fuel and oxidizer. Then, as I told, the nozzle will be placed with the combustion chamber. So mainly, liquid propellants are classified as two, that is monopropellants and bipropellants. In the solid propellant rockets, the solid propellants are classified as heterogeneous propellants and homogeneous propellants. In the liquid propellant rocket, liquid propellants are classified as monopropellants and bipropellants. So like the homogeneous propellants in the solid rocket, monopropellants are the chemicals which contains both the fuel and oxidizer in a single chemical. It is stable and normal ambient conditions and liberates the thermochemical energy on heating. The chemicals used as a monopropellants are nitroglycerin, nitromethane, hydrogen peroxide, and hydrazine. In bipropellants, fuels and oxidizers are in different form and its chemical nature, then the propellant is known as bipropellant. So bipropellants are widely used in liquid propellant rockets. So mostly in the liquid propellant rockets, the cryogenic fuels are used. Cryogenic fuels means oxidizer as liquid oxygen, fuel as liquid hydrogen or hydrazine. So in cryogenic engine, the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogens are used as a propellants. So remaining propellants are the gasoline, methane, and ethanol. If the red fuming nitric acid are used as oxidizer, aniline and ethanol are used as fuel. If white fuming nitric acids are used as oxidizer, alcohol is used as fuel. If hydrogen peroxide is used as an oxidizer, hydrazine, ethanol, and methanol are used as fuels. So, like the properties of solid propellants, the liquid propellant should have high calorific value, high density. It should have low vapor pressure and density. It should have high specific heat and thermal conductivity. The products of combustion produces high jet velocity, and it should have non-corrosive and non-reactive with components. And it should not be poisonous and hazardous. It should be cheap and easily available. It should be easily ignitable. Now we are going to see how the burning will takes place inside the liquid propellant rocket engine. There are mainly two propellant systems are used. One is gas pressure feed system, another one is pump feed system. First of all, this is a gas pressure feed system. In this gas pressure feed system, the fuel and oxidizers are extracted from the gas pressure by the gas pressure and gravity. So this is a oxidizer tank, this is a fuel tank. Both in the oxidizer tank and fuel tanks, the oxidizers and fuels are flowing by the gas pressure. So in the top of the tanks, one pressuring gas tank is available. inside the pressurizing gas tank, heliums are used. This helium gas is used to push the fuel and oxidizer in the tanks. So the fuel and oxidizers are flowing through these pipelines. Then it will enters the combustion chamber through the pipelines and valves. So as I told, inside the combustion chamber, burning is done and exhaust gases will be produced. By means of these exhaust gases of high velocity, the thrust is produced. So rockets will be launched from the Earth to the space. So second one is pump feed system. In this pump feed system, the pumps are used to extract the fuel and oxidizer from the tank. So the pumps are driven by the gas turbine. So this gas turbine is used to drive the pumps. How this gas turbine is functioning? So inside the gas turbine is driven by using this gas generator. So before starting of gas turbine, the gas generator will supply the gases to the gas turbine. So it's a very small part of the fuel and oxidizer will enter the gas generator. So some gases will be produced. These gases are utilized to drive the gas turbine. So the gas turbine will drive the fuel pump and oxidizer pump. So after driving the gas turbine, this generating gas will be escaped through this small nozzle. So by using this small nozzle also, small part of the thrust is produced. So the rocket will be launched by using the both kind of thrust. So thrust will be produced by using this big part of the engine, and this small part of the engine also the thrust is produced. So this is a pump feed system. Mainly the combustion inside the liquid propellant rocket engine is classified as injection, atomization, mixing, vaporization, ignition, and chemical reaction between fuel and oxidizer. So this is the horizontal part of the engine. The engine is placed in this diagram in the horizontal position. So in the left side, injectors will be placed. These injectors are used to spray the fuel and oxidizer. So after spraying the fuel and oxidizer, the chemical reactions will be done. So this is a rapid combustion zone, then the steam tube combustion zone. Finally, this is a final combustion zone. So the complete combustion will take place in the final combustion zone. So vaporization, atomization, then the chemical reaction will be done inside the liquid propellant combustion chamber. So complete combustion will take place in the right side of the combustion chamber. So high gases will be produced. Then the high gases will enter the nozzle to produce the thrust. So by means of thrust, the rocket will be launched from the Earth to the space. So third type of chemical rocket engine is hybrid propellant rocket engine. In the hybrid propellant rocket engine, the fuel is used as a solid and oxidizer is used as a liquid. So liquid oxidizer tank is utilized. So only one tank, that is liquid oxidizer tank. But the fuel is in the form of solid. So since the fuel is in the solid form and oxidizer is in the liquid form, this type of rocket engine is known as hybrid propellant rocket engine. So as I told, liquid propellant rocket engine, so liquid oxidizers are entered into the combustion chamber by means of gravity and also gas pressure. So liquid oxidizer is injected through the nozzle previously, the solid is fuel is in the solid form. So when the liquid fuel is injected, both the fuel and oxidizers will be mixed and chemical reaction will be taken place. So by means of chemical reaction, the burning gases will be produced. Then, as I told, the burning gases will enter the nozzle and to produce high velocity of gases. So this high velocity of gases will create the thrust. So in order to, so this by means of this thrust, the rockets will be launched. So in the hybrid propellant rockets, the beryllium hydride is used as a fuel and fluorine is used as an oxidizer. If lithium hydride is used as a fuel, chlorine trifluoride used as a oxidizer. If lithium hydride is used as a fuel, nitrogen tetroxide is used as a oxidizer. If hydrocarbon is used as a fuel, nitrogen tetroxide is used as an oxidizer. So the chemical rocket engines are classified as solid propellant rocket engine, liquid propellant rocket engine, and hybrid propellant rocket engine. So this is a different classification, that is nuclear rocket engine. So mostly in our India, chemical rocket engines are utilized to propel the rockets, but in foreign countries like America and Russia, nuclear rocket engines and electrical rocket engine and also solar rocket engines are also utilized. So this is a construction of a nuclear rocket engine. In nuclear rocket engine, the combustion will take place by means of nuclear reactor. So like the liquid propellant rocket engine, the propellant tank, that is liquid hydrogen, will be placed in the tank. So the pump is utilized to suck the liquid hydrogen from the tank and it will supply the liquid hydrogen to the combustion chamber by means of these pipelines. So as I told, in the liquid rocket engine, the pump is driven by this turbine. So this turbine, the main source of fuel is supplied from the combustion chamber. So the exhaust gases produced in the combustion chamber will be utilized to drive the turbine. So after driving the turbine, these exhaust gases will pass through this pipeline and it will escape from this nozzle to produce the small amount of thrust. So in the main combustion chamber, the liquid hydrogen is burnt by means of this nuclear reactor. So we have studied in the working principle of nuclear reactor in the physics. So uranium, plutonium, these type of fuels are used to produce the heat energy. So because of this heat energy, the liquid hydrogen is burnt. After the burning of liquid hydrogen, the gases will be produced. These gases will be create the thrust by means of this nozzle. So this is a working principle of nuclear rocket engine. This is an electrical rocket engine. In this electrical rocket engine, the anodes and cathodes are utilized to produce the electrical energy. This electrical energy is converted into heat energy. This heat energy is utilized to burn the liquid propellant. So this liquid propellant is stored in the tank. As I told, in the gas pressure feed system, the gas pressure is utilized to push the propellant to the combustion chamber. So this liquid propellant will enter the combustion chamber. So because of the electrical energy, the propellant will be burnt. So electrical energy will be converted into heat energy. This heat energy is used to burn the liquid fuel. So burning gases will be produced. These burning gases will be used to produce the thrust. Now we are going to see the applications of rocket engines, rockets. So first of all, rockets are mainly used for military purpose and fighting purposes. So in the military purposes, the supersonic research aircrafts will be launched by using the rockets. The second one is the applications of rockets are mainly used to launch the satellites. So in missiles and rocket projectiles are also launched by the rockets. Then for launching the satellites into the space orbits, the rockets are mainly used. So military purposes and commercial purposes and scientific purposes, manned and unmanned space vehicles, the rockets are utilized, and near Earth, longer interplanetary trains, solar systems, the space vehicles, the rockets are applied. So sounding rockets which carry instruments to measure meteorological and scientific data at high altitudes, may be guided or unguided, the rockets will be utilized. Now we are going to see the multi-stage of rocket. Mostly in our India and other countries, multi-stage rockets are used. So multi-stage rockets will have booster stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, and the payload stage. So booster stage is propelled by using a rocket liquid engine or a solid engine. Then second stage and third stage and fourth stage are propelled by using the liquid rocket engines. So when the rocket is launched from the Earth to the space, this 1x1 stage is, first of all, this booster stage is utilized to propel the rocket. When the rocket will reach particular distance or particular altitude, this booster stage will be inactive. Then the second stage will be active. So by this step by step, the second stage and third stage and fourth stage are active when the rocket is reached by step in the high altitude. In this payload have the navigational equipment and control equipments such as the satellites. This payload stage will have this navigation equipments. So this is the construction of multi-stage of rockets. So this is the conclusion of the rocket propulsion. I hope that you have very well known about the rocket engines, types of rockets, and different types of chemical rocket engines and nuclear rocket engines, and what is known as the multi-stage of rocket. So thank you for your patient watching and learning. If you want to know about the mechanical engineering and if you wish to join the mechanical engineering, please contact me. My contact number is available in the description box. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for patiently watching this video. You can get your certificates by filling the feedback form given in the description, which will be available for 72 hours. If this video is useful, share it with your circle and don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for next webinar. Happy learning!